Why you keep getting advice from Johnny? Why you keep getting advice from Johnny and Johnny is not doing better than you? Johnny is not doing half as well as you, but you're going to call Johnny for some advice. That's insanity. So you need to stop doing that. Hello, my friends. It's that time again. Welcome to the Penniless One podcast. My name is Jesse W. Benson, but my friends call me Jay Benz. And boy, oh boy, do we have a great podcast show for you today. We'll be talking about circles and friendships. And we'll talk about how big your circle should be and how many friends you really should have and how your friends could end up hurting you or helping you get to where you want to be in this life. So let's dive right in. Number 3, because when we're talking about friendships and circles, you should be basing your friendships and circles off of this number. And the reason why we're doing the number 3 is because, in life, the number 3 is very powerful. It's the strongest number as far as engineering and tech-wise that you can have in forms of making a strong foundation or a structure. Now, if you think of even your own home, every point, if you look in the room and you look at the corners of your home, and the corners of your home is where the strength lies. And you see two points coming together is 2D, but 3 points coming together is 3D, and that's when it becomes very, very strong. So a lot of bridges and a lot of strong structures are built in the shapes of a triangle. So if you look in your home and you look at the corners, well, those corners are coming together and they're coming to form a point that is a triangle. So I think when we talk about friendships and we talk about our circles, we better get used to saying our triangles and start off with the number 3. Am I telling you that you shouldn't have 4 friends, you should have 3? Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying have 3 friends or have 6 friends. I'm saying have 6 friends or have 9 friends. And you're going to understand what I mean as we go along. And so let's talk about that triangle. Now let's talk about your friendship triangle and how important it's going to be in your life. First thing is, before we get to the number 3 and talk about the friends you should have, let's talk about who one of your best friends should be, which would be yourself. You need to be a friend to yourself first. Okay, so let's get that friend out the way. And some of us will, thinking like, hey, I'm already a friend to myself, but not all the time. And there's so many times that we're not being a good friend to ourselves, which doesn't allow us to be a great friend to others. You see, being a good friend to yourself first will allow you to be a great friend to someone else. And when I say that, what I mean is, sometimes we're doing things that harms us. Right? Sometimes we have these different addictions, drug, alcohol, what have you, where we know these things are not in our best interest, but we continue to do those to ourselves. When you think about that, you're not being a good friend to you. Stop doing things that's going to harm yourself. You have control over your own actions and start to do things that will say, hey, I'm being a good friend to me. Think about the action. Think about the thing that you're doing and say, is this being a good friend to myself? And when we talk today, we're going to do a lot of comparisons, and this may be one of the only podcasts where we're doing comparisons to other people, because it'd be one of the only podcasts that I say things like this in. And the reason why is because we as a people have to stop comparing ourselves to others. Okay, so when you compare yourself to someone else, you become bitter. Okay? A great friend of mine told me this. When you compare yourself to others, you become bitter. But when you compare yourself to yourself, you become better. Which means this. If you continue to compare yourself to others, you're going to find yourself bitter often. Okay? Comparing, what car do they have? What house do they have? What clothes are they wearing? What new things do they, what kind of ring do they got on their finger? Where do they live? You start comparing yourself to others and you become bitter. what you need to do is look in that mirror and compare yourself to the greater you. Find that greater you, the you that you know you need to be, the you that's inside of you that's trying to come out, the one that's biting at you, the one that's nagging you. It's in your body, it's in your body, it's in your soul, it's in your spirit. That you inside of there that's trying to claw its way out to be better, to be greater. Look in the mirror and compare yourself to that person, and that's how you become better, being better over bitter. And that's the first thing that we have to knock out the way. But in today's podcast, we'll be talking about, the friendships that you have and how this one time you will be doing a comparison because it's in your best interest, okay? And the first thing I want you to do out of your number 3 is pick your first friend. You got you out the way, but let's pick your first friend. And the first friend that you need to have, number 1 friend that you need to have, is someone that's not doing as well as you are. Now, it's going to sound crazy when I talk about this. It's going to sound just off, but I do this all the time. Just stick with me, and it's going to come back around to you. Okay, so don't get lost yet. But grab a friend. Make sure you have a friend that's not doing as well as you. And there's 2 reasons why you have to have a friend that's not doing as well as you. Okay, and the first reason is kind of selfish. When you think about it, but you need to, it matters and it helps you anyway. So have a friend that's not doing as good as you. Let's just say your friend's name is Johnny. Okay, so Johnny is not doing as well as you in life. Johnny's not doing as well as you currently and what's going on. So Johnny struggles more than you. Johnny's hurting more than you. Johnny finds himself in a lot tougher situations than you. You used to be there, but you're not there anymore. Yes, you need that friend. You need somebody that's not doing as well as you. Why? Because every time you look at Johnny, it makes you feel like you've accomplished something in your own life. You can use that as a comparison. And if anything's going wrong with you, anything that's going bad, anything that's not up to your standard, you could be like, well, at least I'm not doing as bad as Johnny. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but you really do need this. It's to help your own ego, okay? That's your one friend. Selfishly, you need a friend that's not doing as well. As you can say, I know I'm not doing, too well, but I know I'm doing better than Johnny because Johnny is like really suffering. Okay, that's to keep you going. Like, okay, at least I'm on some type of track that's going in the right direction. Now, let's finish this thing up for your first friend. Because it's not all about being selfish. It's also about giving back. So you need a friend that's not doing as well as you to also do this, which is really what the world is about and the evolution of where we're going and how we're going to be having different perceptions, which I talked about in the last podcast, but be all in the same perspective. You need to be able to reach back and grab Johnny because you can. See, because you're doing a lot better than Johnny, you can actually reach back. You can say some things to Johnny and they actually will matter and they can help Johnny come along. Because some of us are doing so much talking to different people, but we're talking to them, but we're not doing that much better than them. So whatever advice we're giving them is probably not good enough for them. In fact, some of us have too many of the same friends. We're, running around with the same types of people, and you think like, sometimes that it does have its value that you have a friendship circle, or in this case we're saying triangle, but you have a triangle where it's of the like minds, right? And you can be of like mind, but you don't have to all have the same perception. See, your friends need to be different than you, and this is what will make you great. Okay, and so some of us are running around. We got too many of the same friends, and a lot of us have the same friends, and we're all at the same level. I was talking about levels in the first podcast. We're all about the same level where, we can't even help each other because we're all not doing that well, right? You got too many friends that can't help you because they haven't accomplished enough to help you. They haven't been through enough to help you. They haven't overcome enough hurdles to help you. They haven't climbed enough mountains to help you. And so you keep having friends like that, and you increase you'll increase your friend circle. Your circle will get so big and so full of people that haven't accomplished anything and haven't done anything and haven't climbed that mountain. And so it's a bunch of non-climbers that you're with. You're trying to climb a mountain, but you got a bunch of non-mountain climbing friends. Now, how much sense does that make? That doesn't make any sense. And so some of us have way too many friends like that. But what we need to have, and in this case, your first friend, reach back in sets of 3. Your first friend needs to be somebody that's not doing as well. So that one, you can feel good that you're on the right track. You're doing a lot better than Johnny. And number 2, which is probably the first reason, is so that you can reach back and help Johnny. You have the criteria. You have the credibility. You've been there and done that. You can reach back and help Johnny along. And that's your responsibility for that friend triangle. Let's get that first friend out the way. It's somebody that you can reach back and pull up. Reach back and pull up. That's your first friend. Your second friend needs to be somebody who is a peer. That's somebody who is on the same level as you. And the reason why you have to have your second friend be a peer is because you need somebody that can relate to you, okay? You can't relate to Johnny. So let's say your second friend is Sarah, okay? So your first friend is Johnny. Your second friend is Sarah. Johnny is somebody that you're going to reach back and pull up, but Sarah is your peer, okay? You can't relate to Johnny because Johnny's not where you are. Only thing you can do is you can relate to the situations that Johnny is in, but Johnny can't really relate to you because Johnny's not there yet. So that means when you're talking to Johnny, you're giving Johnny advice, okay? But you're not going to go cry on Johnny's shoulder anytime soon because you can't do that. Because Johnny can't relate to you. You may be able to relate to Johnny, but Johnny can't relate to you. So you need this second friend. This second friend is your peer. Your peer is somebody who is right where you are. They know exactly what you're talking about. So when you say, this is what happened to me, your peer can say, and that's what's happening to me too. And oh, it is? Yes, it is. So that's Sarah. You can talk to Sarah and you be on the same level as Sarah, and she is on your page. And that way, you can both cry on each other's shoulder because you both understand. Okay, and you need Sarah for that, and Sarah needs you for that. When you are going through whatever it is, your tribulation, the trial that you have, with the obstacle, the adversity that you're going through, you do need to have a peer that, you're going to be able to speak to and get this thing off of your chest. Okay? I call it the vent session. You need a friend that when you call them, you can vent to them. The thing is, you don't need to be calling them all the time. And I think this is a major mistake that a lot of friendships have. When we do have a peer group, of the same caliber, because we only have friends of that level, we keep calling those friends and keep venting to those friends over and over and over again. And see, that's the issue. Because after so much venting, somebody's going to get tired and worn out. They don't want to hear that negative conversation every single time. They don't want to hear everything that you're going through, the story of doom and the sky is falling. You know how terrible it is to listen to somebody over and over and over again that it's just bad news all the time. Okay? And this is why you got to have these specific levels of friends. Because you're going to need to speak to somebody and get that vent session in, and that's with Sarah. But you're going to also need to talk to somebody and not do a vent session, and that person is going to need to be speaking to you about everything, and that's Johnny, because you can help Johnny. Johnny is somebody that you're doing better than. So every conversation that you have with a friend, sometimes you're going to have a friend conversation with Sarah, and other times you're going to have a friend conversation with Johnny, and that's going to keep your friend triangle very strong. Because every time you talk to Johnny, you're helping Johnny out. And every time you vent to Sarah, both of you are helping each other out, because you need to be able to get this thing off of your chest to somebody who can actually relate to what it is that you're talking about. Because the worst thing to have is to be speaking to somebody like Johnny who can't relate. And boy, the worst thing that can happen to you in life is when Johnny starts giving you advice. Because before you know it, if you keep getting advice, and this is what's happening to a lot of people, I want you to listen. This is what's happening to you. I want you to listen to me. You are talking to Johnny and trying to get advice from Johnny. Why you keep getting advice from Johnny? Okay, hey, look, we don't ride the train, we lay the tracks. We don't ride waves, we make waves. Why? Because that's the only way great leadership reaches its desired destination. Alright? And if you want the gear is here. Okay? Start wearing something that matters. Start wearing something that means something. Okay? And if you want the books, then get us on Amazon.com. The Penniless Soul of Julian Rose and a Violin for Your Crow is what you need to be reading. Okay? You better get in where you fit in. Last but not least, reach out to us on the social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Snapper, Chatter, whatever, you name it, we're on it. So let's do this, okay? And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't delay. You dig? And now, let's get back to the podcast. Why you keep getting advice from Johnny and Johnny is not doing better than you? Johnny is not doing half as well as you, but you're going to call Johnny for some advice. That's insanity. So you need to stop doing that. You need to be speaking to Johnny to pull Johnny up. You need to be speaking to Sarah just to get it off your chest. And those are the two friends that you have. And now we're going to go to the third friend. And we're going to keep this triangle strong because now it's about to become 3D. Now what I'm telling you is about to take a 3D form in your spirit. And I need you to be able to hear it. And I need it to form so it's a strong structure. You need the third friend. Okay? So if your first friend is somebody who's not doing as well as you, Johnny, and your second friend is somebody who's your peer level, who's doing exactly how you're doing, Sarah, now you need that third friend. Now you need that third friend. And the third friend is the friend that you're going to have that's doing, there's no question about it. This friend is doing better than you. This friend is doing an amazing job. This friend this friend is who you aspire to be. This friend is who you aspire to be like. This friend is the one that's actually looking at you and saying to you the same thing you're saying to Johnny. You need that friend. Let's call your third friend David. Okay? So you have a Johnny, you have a Sarah, and now you have a David. Okay? You need David because now David is the friend that's doing very, very well. David's very successful. David has it, figured out. The thing that David's going to give, just doing so much better than you that you're just like at awe with what's going on. You need that friend. Because now when you make a certain phone call or you have a certain conversation, you're going to have some of your conversations with David because David's going to be able to give you advice. Now I want you to notice what I'm saying. Don't get no advice from Johnny. Get some advice from Sarah, but when you get the advice from Sarah, take it with a grain of salt. Okay? And you get most of your advice from David. Now here's the difference between David and Sarah. David, your friend David, has been there. So when he gives you advice, he's not going to sugarcoat the advice. He's been there, so he's giving it to you. And sometimes he'll give it to you raw. You need that, okay? So this is when you're talking to Sarah, and Sarah's the one that you can cry on her shoulder. You can both pat each other on the back. You can tell Sarah, yeah, it's going to get better. We're going to do better. Sarah can tell you, yeah, it's going to get better. We're going to be okay. And you all can believe that. And it may not even be true, but you can believe it because that's what the vent session is for. But when you're ready to get some real advice, you need to stop talking to Johnny. You need to stop talking to Sarah. And who you need to talk to is David. You need to talk to your third friend who knows what it is. Who you don't have to reinvent the wheel. David already has the wheel. So now you just take specific direction from David. And David says, do 1, 2, 3. And that's what you do. Okay? And your conversations, if you're not careful, will go this way. If you're talking to Johnny and Johnny say, what I want you to do every day for 30 days, I want you to get butt naked. I want you to go down to the river and jump in the river. I want you to stand in that river butt naked for an hour. Every morning at the, crack of dawn. 5 a.m. I want you to get up. It's cold, and I know it's cold outside. Johnny said, I know it's cold outside. Get butt naked and go stand in that river for an hour. Every day for 30 days, and that's how you're going to be successful. Listen, when you're talking to Johnny and Johnny's telling you that, that's crazy. Okay? Don't do that. Why? Because Johnny is not doing better than you. And why would you get advice from Johnny? You have the same conversation and you're venting to Sarah and you're saying, hey, I'm not doing well. She said, hey, I'm not doing as well either, but we're going to get through this. What we should do is go down to the river, stand, I heard it's a good thing to do, stand butt naked in the river at 5 a.m. For an hour every day for 30 days, and the thing is going to come out all right. When you should hear that from Sarah, say, hey, you know what? That sounds like something. I haven't tried that yet. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I won't. You do it first. Let me see if it works for you. Like, that's the type of conversation you're going to have with Sarah. But here's the difference. When you're talking to David and David says, take yourself, you get up at 5 a.m., you get butt naked, and you jump in that river, and you stand in that river for an hour. Every day you do that for 30 days. You hang up the phone on David and you get up at 5 a.m. and you take yourself down to that river and you stand in that river butt naked for 30 days. That's what you do. Because why? Because David's already been there and done it, and David is successful, and you need to get direction from a friend that has done it and has succeeded. And that's why you need your friends in sets of 3. Now your friendship triangle is very, very strong. So before you start talking about you got a 4th and 5th friend, you need to have 6 friends. And before you start talking about a 7th and 8th friend, you need to not have 9 friends. Why? Because you need this friendship triangle. You need to go from a triangle to a diamond to a star with a triangle in the middle. That's what you need to do. And you need your friendships to be even, because sometimes it's not even for us. Some of us got too many Johnnies in our friendship triangle, or what you all call yourselves today, your circle. Some of y'all got too many Johnnies in your circle wondering why you're not going nowhere. In fact, you got too many Johnnies in your circle wondering why you're going backwards. You're going backwards because Johnny's backwards. Okay? Some of you got too many Sarahs in your circle wondering why every time you're trying to do something, every time you're trying to make a move, it seems like you're just standing in the same spot. It seems like you're running around and running, but you're going nowhere fast. Okay, you're not going backwards, but you're not going forward. Not because you got too many Sarahs in your circle. Okay, and some of you don't have no Davids in your circle at all, and you're wondering why you're not moving forward. And then some of you have too many Davids in your circle. And the reason why I'm telling you this is some of you have so many Davids in your view. You're just only trying to have successful friends. You're only trying to have rich friends. You're only trying to have friends that you think have done it well. And you start comparing yourself to all those Davids. And then you compare yourself to them and you're starting to get bitter. But you're not comparing yourself to the greater you. And you got too many Davids in your circle. You can't even keep up with them. They so successful. They moving so fast that they're looking at you and they're like, we about to dump this person out of our circle because, we got to get rid of Jesse because he can't keep up. Yeah, I can't keep up. It's 17 of you all. One of me. You all know what you're talking about. I don't, and I'm lost now. So that's why it's very important to keep your triangle sacred and to keep those friendships even. Have 3, or have 6, or have 9, or have 12. But whatever you do, keep them even and know who your friends are. So what I challenge you to do, today is make a list and find out how many Johnnies do you have? How many Sarahs do you have? How many Davids do you have? Hey, and you better make that list smaller. You better make a triangle. If you want to be successful, you want to grow, you want to evolve, you want to start feeling better about what's going on, you want your life to reflect something great, you better start checking your friend list out, and you better make it even and say, oh, I got too many Johnnies. It's going to hurt somebody, but I'm telling you, this is where I go back to that number 1. You need to at least be a friend to yourself. It's going to hurt some of them, but I need to put some people on pause until you get enough. You need to put a Johnny on pause until you get another Sarah. Okay? Hey, you need to cross a Sarah off the list until you get another David, because your scale is unbalanced. And you need to get your scale back to being balanced. Okay? So in today's podcast, what you learned is that you needed to have 3, because 3 is a powerful number. And you found that you needed to have 3 friends. 1 being a friend that's not doing as well as you. 1 being a friend that's your peer. And 1 being a friend that's doing extremely well. You need all 3 of those, or all 3 of those types in your friend triangle, because that's going to make your triangle the strongest it can possibly be. Reach back to friend number 1 and pull them along. Reach out to friend number 2 and have a good session and interact with friend number 2. And always get a hold of friend number 3 and get all your advice, and a lot of your advice from friend number 3. And if you do right on all 3 of those levels, you'll have the strongest friendship triangle that you could possibly have, and the best life that you know you're worth. I am the Penniless One, and until next time, I'm signing off.